Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your boy Trey and my man Bishop, fresh out the gym, ready, running. Y'all should have seen him trying to get to formation before everybody else. Hey, it's us, first formation, morning sports talk. Bishop, how you doing, bruh?
I'm good, Trey. What's going on? Falling. Y'all know how I go, man. WGO, WGO. What's going on with everyone on this hump day? How y'all feeling, man? What's good with you, Trey? How was your Tuesday night?
Tuesday, man, I was actually pretty tired. I don't know why. Last night we had, here on Fort Polk, it's basketball season, and last night was the first day of the basketball season. We usually do it 2 days a week, and last night it seemed long, man. It had a couple of games. I'm not gonna say good games. It was definitely the first two teams were matched for the most part.
Rusty.
I don't know if you want to call it rusty, man, but it's just saying
What's going on, Sarah?
the first two teams were were was matched evenly matched. We should say that, and then the last
Okay.
one it was like a blowout, man. Like 30, 39 to like 75 or something like
Good
that.
Lord.
So, but I mean,
Yeah.
were playing against our last year's installation champions.
Oh,
So
okay.
saying it's a team called Deadshot, and when saying the name for the most part matches what they do. So, but it was interesting. Hopefully, some more teams came in and added. So I think we're about 9 teams now. So it should make for some interesting nights for the most part. So I look forward to that.
Okay. Well, good morning, Erica. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Tuesday was Tuesday, man. It was a Tuesday for me, man. I really didn't do a whole lot. Chilling, man, for the most part. Really didn't
You
do
got any games you
anything.
got to call? Any upcoming games you got
So
to
I
call?
actually they hit me up yesterday and was like, "Hey, can you call any basketball game today?" And I unfortunately I wasn't able to call any games yesterday because they had called me like last minute. It was like, "Hey, what up, little bro? Can you call games?" They called me at bro. They called me at like what was it, 3:30, almost 4 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock. Come on, can you call a game at 5, bro? What? Huh? I mean, normally I could, come up off the wing. Oh, what's going on, Mrs. Gordon? How you
What's
doing?
going on, sis?
Miss
What's
Gordon,
going
how you
on?
doing? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, normally they call me up, man, and I can make it happen. But for whatever reason, they called me last minute, and I just wasn't prepared for that. So hopefully they'll hit me up again, and I'll be out there on the court calling some basketball games because I do like calling basketball, officiating basketball games. So it is what it is. We'll look. As a matter of fact, I gotta look here in a minute see if they threw something up in there for me. I got some football games, some flag football games, youth flag football games to call this Saturday though. I got
Oh,
six
okay.
of them again.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
money in the bank, huh?
yeah, money in the bank. Yes.
So of course, like you said, we look for it. We always try to have some type of a special guest, saying that got something good to say, something to put out
For
there,
sure.
something that is gripping to most y'all individuals for the most part. Of course,
Ronnie, you missed formation. Formation started like 3 minutes ago. Make sure you come see first or announce the formation. All right. I know you got something to do, but I know you leave early, but make sure you come see formation during the day. All right. Stay
You know what, by fact, you know what,
with
Jordan, hold on, let me bring Ashley in. Jordan, I got something for you, man. And so, saying, like I say, we have a guest, saying he's an 8-year veteran, 3 years active, 5 years National Guard, saying he makes sure he completed that, that contract,
commitment.
saying
Yeah,
his
commitment.
commitment. Oh, that's how we feel it. That's how we feel it, Jordan. Oh, go ahead.
My bad.
He's gonna say so.
Really? That's what we doing right now, Jay?
so
Really?
so definitely that we greatly and he's a get down. You say if y'all don't know what a get down is, y'all
You
about to
better
find
ask
out.
somebody.
So of course,
Yeah, you
saying
better
like I
ask
said, a
somebody.
soft introduction. We go ahead, Mr. Coach Ashley Robinson. What's going on, Ashley? How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, Trey? How you doing, Bishop?
What's
Hey,
going
we
on,
good.
Coach? How
We
you
good,
doing?
man.
Man, I'm doing well. I appreciate this opportunity to kick it with y'all. You know what
Oh
I
Yes,
mean?
man,
sir.
we feel privileged to be able to have a 92 get down on here with us.
Yes, sir.
Man, we don't me and Trey we don't have the privilege of having same MOSs on here on a
Yeah.
regular. So to have a 92 get down, man, we feel honored. Yeah, look, see, because Jordan,
Yeah.
he in the house. Yeah, yeah, he in the
That
house. Yeah,
love is real. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
that's what's up.
So, Ashley, go ahead and tell us a little bit something about yourself, sir.
Oh man. So of course, like you said, I did do my time, if you want to say. I did 3 years active in Hawaii, is where, you know, which was nice. It's funny, you know what I mean? When I first got into the military, my thought is I don't want to go to war. I want to serve the country, but at the same time, let's keep it real.
Yeah, let's keep it
I ain't
100.
trying
Yeah.
to, you know
Want
what
to
I
be
mean?
like your
So
pops and stuff, or your pops didn't go to war, didn't do nothing like that. They just served. That's all they
right.
did. Oh yeah, didn't deploy nothing.
So I didn't know at the time they were saying that how much we'll be in the field. You know what I mean?
Your recruiter didn't give you that back brief.
No, man, he didn't tell me none of that. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, this is a great MOS. I'm like, cool. I'm not really trying to do, no fighting like that. I take care of everybody. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so I ended up going to Hawaii for 3 years. I was fortunate enough to be on a boat, so I was a part of transportation for 3 years. So my field duty was on LSB. So I did just back and forth. So I didn't have to go to the field. I just stayed on the boat. So I was blessed on that part, right? And then I did 5 years in the Guard in Maryland, Washington. Well, in Maryland at first, and then I finished in Washington, basically Seattle, Washington, where I finished my contract and just switched over from there. I was hooping and went off and played ball, but the Army love is still strong. I still got the brotherhoods since I was 19, 20 years old when I joined the military to this day. So hoorah, hoorah for us and hoorah for the Marines. You know what I mean? So
No doubt, man. I'm actually jealous because I'm gonna be honest, coach. For the whole 21 years of service that I put in serving our great country, man, I tried my damnedest to get to Hawaii, and they would not get it. And for you to get it as a
yes,
92G, and it's just like your first, I'm mad. I'm jealous. I ain't gonna lie, because I did everything I could to try to get to Hawaii, and they would not give me that assignment, man. They would not. I'm gonna be honest with you.
well, actually, the trip part was, I had went to high school in North Carolina. My mom is a retired vet as well, and so
Okay.
I was stationed in North Carolina. So, we know Fort Bragg is,
Right. Mm-hmm.
yep, you know what I mean, Air Ranger, Air Assault. So I was actually starting to go to school to go to Air Assault and try to get back to Hawaii, since that's sort of like my hometown because of my high school days. You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
man, once the orders came out and it
Right,
said
Jordan.
Robinson going to Hawaii, forget all of that. I'm going to Hawaii. I ain't going I ain't jumping out no planes. You don't have to.
Right. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all, bro. That's what's
Bro,
up, man.
the closest I got to Hawaii was, said being in JBLM. Being in JBM, we're pretty close in that whole Pacific North West connection that they got and stuff like that. So that was supposed to doing a small tour, but then I almost got to Alaska too, because I almost, tried to help try to help my man's out. He came up on orders, but he went to become a the general's aide. So he went
Okay.
to school. So when he came back, he was supposed to bounce, and get ready to go. So they was like, oh, he got this assignment. He was supposed to he already had orders to Alaska. So I was like, man, maybe I should just go ahead. I was ready to leave JBL for the most part. And I was thinking myself, I was like, maybe I should just go ahead and take his assignment and let them know, like, hey, I'll take it. I'll stand in the gap for him. And then it hit me. What was I thinking? Like, no, I'm not finna do that. No, we good. You know what I'm saying? We good. You know what I'm saying? They'll take care of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what they get paid to do. So of course, you know what I'm saying, that it never happened. So real quick, man, real quick, before we get into these sports topics, Jordan, you know what Jordan remind me of, fam? He remind me of that NCO that comes to formation, and he always got something to do at the end after formation. Like, it's especially like, think about the cats that come in at BF PT formation
Yeah.
6:30, but then they talking about, hey, yeah, even he in ACUs, BDUs, whatever it was at the time, and talk about, hey, I got an appointment, bruh. It's 6:30 in the morning. Where the hell you going?
What appointment you got at 6:30?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's like,
Jordan knows
everything like, yeah,
Jordan knows he
I'm
on the
gonna go.
carpet.
Yeah, I gotta go ahead and leave. I gotta leave early because, like, really saw it. So of course, yeah, that's what you're saying. Look, see, look at him.
I still do. Look, you got an appointment this morning.
Yeah, you got an appointment this morning.
Hey, I got to leave out, y'all, just so y'all know I got to go.
Oh man, that's
No
crazy.
doubt.
So of course, of course, like I said, these NFL topics to cover some things in the NFL. So I know I'm very sure all y'all was listening, checking out, especially them Dallas Cowboy fans. So fellas, I come forth with this question early this morning. What do y'all think about the comments that was made by Dak during his press conference? Look at look at see.
Look, see that,
Look,
see,
yeah,
see, look at that. But y'all still got the job done. I was like the special teams of these. You was the special teams, facts.
So of course we had, we had the situation which, if you didn't catch it, the fans for the Dallas Cowboys started throwing trash and debris and stuff onto the field. I'm not gonna say after the players, but was throwing it. So of course Dak during his press conference after the game spoke about how let's not do that. That's not a good thing. We'll want to do that. And one of the reporters said maybe they were throwing it at the officials. And then at that point he replied with good, kudos to them, or let me see exactly, let me get the right quote. Credit to them then for for person throwing the debris at the official. So the situation changed quick. You have every official that is calling for Dak Prescott's head at this point. You even have NBA officials who are saying that something needs to happen to Dak Prescott for providing that type of rhetoric. So Bishop, you was about to say something on this subject?
Man. So first off, I totally agree. Something does need to happen to Dak. Obviously, Dak deserves to be in Dallas because that sounds just like some Dallas fan stuff that he did talking about Dak. Dak, if they was throwing stuff, they should have threw stuff at you because you don't know the rules of the game. Because you were the one as quarterback giving the ball to the center when you gave it to the official. So if anybody, you should have got hit upside the head with a water bottle or a box of popcorn, a Snicker bar, something. Somebody should have knocked you upside the head with something because it's your fault that y'all lost them 2 to 3 seconds that y'all could have had if you gave the ball to the official. See, that's why Tom Brady, GOAT, Mr. GOAT, that's why he is who he is, because he would have gave the ball to the official. Aaron Rodgers would have gave the ball to the official. But you, Dak, no, you give it to the center as though he know exactly where to mark the ball. No, you just as DUMB as anybody else who thinks it was the official's fault. It was your fault or Mike McCarthy's fault or whoever. Y'all both can take part of the blame because y'all didn't have no timeout. So I blame Mike McCarthy for not having. There you go. What you said.
Yeah, I agree.
That part. No, neither one of you, Mike McCarthy didn't have no timeouts left. So therefore, he should be at fault. And then for you, Dak, for not being aware of what the rule is in regards to the official has to touch the ball to respot the ball, that's on you. So yeah, I totally believe, and it is unprofessional, Jay. Totally believe he should receive some type of repercussion for that.
So, Bishop, is that you speaking from a fan aspect, an official aspect?
Official, I'm speaking on official. It's no hate. It's not a. I know people are, you saying that Bishop because you hate that. No, it's not about hate. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If he knew the rule, it wouldn't have never been like that, bro. It had never been a situation of that magnitude because of the fact he knew the rule. But because he didn't know the rules, hey, you take it for what it is. You're gonna try to criticize the fans for throwing it because you thought they was throwing the stuff on the field at y'all. But then once you find out it wasn't at you, it's at the official. Oh, now you want to praise him? Bad business, bro. Bad business. And as Jordan said, very, very unprofessional. What you got? What you say, Coach?
No, like I agree. I did watch that game, and I didn't understand honestly that play at the end. I'm like, why? Looking at the time and how much just the pressure of everything. You know what I mean? And so I was like, why? Like I said, knowing the rules, being able to, especially from a captain standpoint, the leader, you depend on them. You know what I mean? So now me as a coach, I'm expecting, we working together. We understand scenarios and situations. You know what I mean? Man, this is what it is. Like I said, we all make mistakes. No knock on him being honest, but like y'all say, it's professional. It's levels to this. You know what I mean? So hey, we messed it up. I messed up. Hey, next year it's time to go fishing right now. But at the moment, don't point the finger. Take accountability at the end of the day.
So you'll say that's why you say that. So it's a little off topic or whatever case like that. When we talking about accountability or even the fact of the matter, because I was having a discussion in which it was talking about
Absolutely,
how
yeah.
it was discussed how you basically quarterbacks are handed the reins to just about anything that
Yep.
happens. So, saying in that same breath, saying talk about from a military standpoint, what about us as leaders, NCOs, when we got them badass soldiers or a soldier, saying, or that grown individual who, saying basically we're charged with taking
Yeah.
care of, and they don't do their thing, and we got to stand, we have to be accountable for them as well. Um, do you see any similarities in this situation and that situation, or am I just basically just trying to plug the military again?
No, to be honest, it has some similarities because of the simple fact you have those people who don't want to be accountable. Like Keon said in her statement, you have to be accountable for your own actions. When it's all said and done, Dak was in position to do something. The defense changed. The San Francisco changed their defense because the first few plays, Dallas was throwing the ball, moving the ball down the field, and was getting out of bounds without using any timeouts
Yeah.
because they didn't have any. All their timeouts was gone. They had used them to try and stop San Francisco in the first place. So all their timeouts was gone, so they had to play the sidelines. So San Francisco was allowing them to get out of bounds, and that's when I was like at you, Trav, like, what are they doing? Why are they allowing these guys to continue to get out of bounds? Well, on that play, San Francisco finally made a decision that they was gonna play the sideline. They put all the DBs on the sideline, so that means everything had to go in the middle. Where you as as the captain, as the quarterback, the leader, as Coach said, on the field, you have to be aware. Okay, now they're playing the sideline. That means anything that they're giving me the center, the middle of the field. Being that they're giving me the middle field, everything has to be quick, fast, and a hurry. It can't be no long, drawn out play or anything like that. It has to be quick, fast, and hurry. It's got to be a quick snap. A quick spike or whatever. However, but you as a quarterback, Jack, when do you hold yourself accountable? Because you taking those extra maybe 2 to 3 yards, why not slide early to leave you more time on the clock so you can spike the ball? Why slide so late when you could have made a decision to slide even earlier? That way you would have had time to spike the ball and still had an opportunity to make a throw into the end zone while the refs not being. There's nothing for the refs to be accountable for. They did their job.
Yeah.
What they did, they did their job. It's in the rule book. The ref has to touch the ball. What part are people not understanding with that? It was the ref did his job, and then the fact of the matter is, the ref had to fight through Dak Prescott and the center to even touch the ball.
Yep.
That was 2 to 3 seconds right there. Like, come on, man. The ref wasn't a call. This was a situation where it was.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was situational where I appreciate you, Keon. Dak should have run a play also QB draw or something. He did the draw. It was a draw. He ran it, but he didn't get down in time. He didn't get down in time, or he didn't give up. This is the thing. Dak had multiple opportunities to do different things. He could have gave the ball to the ref. He could have slid it earlier. It could have been. He could have ran the play. He didn't have to spike it. Once the ball is hyped, the thing is, once the ball is hyped, they can't stop the play. The play cannot be stopped. So the ball was hyped. The fact of the matter that he went to spike it, that was 2 seconds. That ran off the clock and the clock expired. Whereas if he would have just ran the play and threw the ball in the air and just hoped for something to happen in the end zone, so be it. Everyone says hold the players accountable for their mistake, but no one, man, that's got to be nobody but AP. That's AP. Because that sounds like all his Applewhite, that's his. I know that's because you cannot. Again, I will say this and I will say this over and over again. And a lot of y'all will probably say, "Oh, because Bishop is an official, blah 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 blah." No, as my coach, please help me with this.
Gotcha.
My coach always told me, don't leave the game in the officials'
Hands, never.
Play to win.
Yep.
Do not leave it. Don't make them make a call.
Yes.
Don't make them make a call. You play to win. That's why you don't hear nothing about the Philadelphia game. That's why you don't hear nothing about the Rams game. That's why you don't hear nothing about the Buffalo game. Why? Because they blew them boys out.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. That's why you don't hear nothing about officiating. Help me out, coach.
No, you're right. I mean, that's, every time you step on whatever the playing field is all, leave it all out there. So that's one of my biggest things. We all know this. You never leave the game in official hands, no matter what, especially a game like this, lose or go home is really crucial. Now the stakes is higher and, so it's one of those situations where, at that level, because that's the thing too, at the highest level, you're one of the best athletes in the world. So it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of pressure on you. So for all of them coming in knowing if we lose, we're going home. So it's one of those, I got to be on my A game no matter what. So the refs, let's go out here, let's handle business and just make it happen. And so in that situation, as we're talking as if the refs had something to do with that play, No, we just didn't handle business like we needed to. That's just basically how they got to accept it. You know what I mean? So I agree with you.
I appreciate you, Jerome. Absolutely, coach. That's when it's all said and done. It's the refs are part of the field. Just like I made a statement the other day too, in regards to if a ball, whether it's basketball or like coach said, any sport, if the ball hits the ref, what is it? He's in play. He's a part of the game. He's a part of that field. Anything that happens with the ref, they're a part of the field. They don't get to run the play over if the ball hit him. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That play is done. He's a part of the field. It is what it is. If y'all would have blown out San Francisco, guess what? We would have never heard nothing about the rest. We would have never heard nothing about this. You know what I'm saying? If y'all blown out San Francisco. But being that y'all didn't blow them out, and being that and this is the thing, with the Cowboys, it's so much it's such a spotlight on the quarterback in Dallas. Because since Troy Aikman has left, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Since Troy Aikman has left, Dallas has had, spotlights on the quarterback position. Tony Romo, everybody, people love and hate Tony Romo. Now we're talking about Dak. We talk about other quarterbacks that came out of Dallas. It's just the spotlight is just on the quarterback in Dallas. Everybody wants Dallas quarterback to be like a Troy Aikman.
Yep.
They have such big expectations, high expectations of the Dallas quarterback, man. They have such high expectations of Dallas quarterbacks, and when they don't perform, every Dallas Cowboy fan puts it on the officials. Every single time. I don't want to say every Cowboy fan. I'm sorry. I won't say that. But a lot of Cowboys fans put it in, haven't had a true leadership. Exactly. That's my whole point. Yeah. Most Cowboy fans, when it comes to mistakes, and I will say this about my cousin Jerome right there, he is a true Dallas Cowboy fan. And he will put the blame on Dak. He's been saying that Dak should have been gone. He doesn't like Dak. He feels like Dak doesn't fit in Dallas. It is what it is. That's how he feels. But he's a true Dallas Cowboy fan. But I feel like every Cowboy fan is trying to measure up every quarterback to Troy Aikman. And it's just not going to happen, man. It's not. And until somebody comes into Dallas and makes sound decisions and becomes a true leader, it is what it is. Why ain't nobody? Let me ask y'all this: why ain't nobody asking why Zeke didn't do what the hell he was supposed to do after getting paid all that money? Why ain't nobody blaming Dak for only letting CeeDee Lamb get one catch?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all blaming all this stuff on the ref.
Yep, I see that. Yeah.
You saw that too, Keon. I wasn't gonna say that, but because we talking about that game, you threw that off. But yeah, y'all, there's so many other accountabilities in that game that was all about the quarterback of Dak Prescott before the officials. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about all the things that happened before that last play.
Yep.
Leading up to that last play, there was opportunities that they missed. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course, as you say, Bishop, everyone they're trying to create their image in that of Troy Aikman. Um, someone maybe they should have someone trying to create their image in that of Jimmy Johnson. As we all know, they've been asking about Mike McCarthy if he's going to be there for the next year. The next person, so I asked this question, a couple of questions, especially for the Cowboys fans. So I know for us it's going to be a little subjective because there's no skin in the game for us. But what of course, Dan Quinn is being interviewed potentially for a plethora of head coaching positions. What about McCarthy being fired, Dan Quinn taking over, or what will any of them? Please let me know, Cowboy fans. What about bringing Brian Flores or Byron Leftwich or Eric Bieniemy, any of those sorts to D-Town? What y'all think about that? Is there a possibility, Bishop, Coach?
Go ahead, coach. I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
Oh shoot, definitely caught me off guard. You know what I mean? I got caught up in y'all conversation. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, man, I forgot I was on the show. I'm like, you know, okay. So, oh man, good question. You know what I mean? Like I said, about that. Y'all know me. I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? And so, and when I say everywhere, meaning busy, traveling, doing things like that. And so, like I'm sorry, this is my first interview in almost a year. You know what I mean? So forgive me as I'm rambling a little bit. But I'm gonna let Bishop start with this because I like to feed off of Bishop. Bishop, you first time getting it to really know you or get to talk to you. But I love what you got going. Trey is my man, so I'm gonna let Bishop go. Then I want to come back and piggyback off of that.
Okay. Yeah. So with me, I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to be fired. I don't feel like it's deserving for him to be put out of Dallas. I think he did just enough to keep his job. I know a lot of people feel like it should be questionable whether or not he should keep his job because of of what happened on the last play of that game. However, like I said before, I feel like it's not only his fault; it's Dak's fault as well. So if you fire Mike McCarthy, you might as well get rid of Dak as well because they're both at fault. So, but I don't know. Jerry Jones, when they interviewed him yesterday and stuff like that, or Monday, he didn't want to talk about it at that time because I'm sure he was highly upset in the fact of whether or not. And that's another thing. Jerry Jones never, unless I missed it, Jerry Jones never faulted the officials. Jerry Jones didn't say one thing about the officials, and he would have been one of the first to say something about the officials if it was an official thing on them. If he really felt that way, and Jerry Jones didn't say nothing. That right there says a lot because Jerry Jones, we know he's very boisterous. You know he speaks his mind. If he felt the official was at fault, Jerry Jones would have said something about it. Steve Jones said the coach is coming, and I feel like Mike. I feel like Mike is coming back. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough for. Appreciate it, little brother. I don't think it's enough for him to be out. I don't. And so I think he'll come back. I think he'll come back now. Will he be on the hot seat coming up this next season?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because he's gonna definitely have to do better than what he did this season. But as far as him being fired, I don't see that happening. In my opinion.
Definitely see that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I guess from a coach's standpoint, that's the other part. Being a coach, you know what I mean? The pressure that is on us to be, in a sense, to lead the troops to end war and be successful. And sometimes things happen, and it's not the coach's fault. You know what I mean? And like I said, in that one situation, look at what he's done to get to that point. You know what I mean? And then you got to then break down and say, like you said, is it worth it? Can he return and take him, continue the progress that he started? You know what I mean? And can we move forward? We know what we messed up at as a coach. We go back. We're constantly studying. We're constantly trying to figure out, build with players and be, you know what I mean, trying to come up with a chemistry or to be successful. You know what I mean? So I think, like you said, it's not enough. Hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not enough for him to go, but I agree with you on that one. It shouldn't be the reason. Not after that.
No. So,
Of course.
what's your thoughts, Trey? Because I mean, I know it was against your team, but
Yeah.
do you feel like Mike McCarthy should be on the hot seat and be ousted of Dallas, or do you feel like he should stay and they should give him another opportunity to try and prove himself and prove the Cowboys are a better team than what they ended up being?
So of course, at this point he's been there for 2 years, and
Right.
what I don't want to be is the individual that how we basically stand on desk when we talk about other coaches that are getting fired after a year or two not getting of course opportunity. I've always been an equal opportunist, even when it comes down to my own saying people of color or anything like that. I don't want to be seen as that individual. It's like it's all about this. So what's fair is what's fair. It, he's had to. I mean, technically he did play last year, but he was without his key players. So I would think that if saying with the same rhetoric that I have for a David Culley is what I saying is the same. It's just only fair that it be put in the same aspect when you talk about Mike McCarthy. However, it's a business. These
Mm-hmm.
things is a business, and at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if you see something, if you see a better situation that's there, i.e., a Brian Flores, a Leftwich, David Culley, or anything like that, or any of these people, why not go ahead and saying grab them when you can? I honestly would have preferred to had Urban Meyer in USC when he was available, and we decided to keep Clay Helton. We didn't do that. Lincoln Riley isn't a bad selection at the end of the day. But what I'm saying, but again, when we're talking about getting what's out there, it's a business. College it all comes down to business. And it is one of those things that as a business, you make the best choice for your organization. Jerry Jones he gets a lot of slack because they talk about how he interferes or saying meddles in the business. It's his business. The man is a multi-millionaire, billionaire. He's caked up, like saying, and he gets it from doing shrewd acts or whatever case like that, but that's his moniker. And saying it's worked for him. So of course, why change it? At this, saying, so McCarthy, I think just like everyone else, he's going to probably be safe, but I'm very sure that seat is getting hot,
Yeah.
and now basically, he's just going to have to deal with that. I wouldn't want Dan Quinn in my to be there because Dan, we all know, as we just talked about Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones is the type that'll get rid of McCarthy and promote Dan Quinn. So what I'm saying, I wouldn't want Dan Quinn to be in my in there if he has an opportunity to be a coach somewhere. Go ahead, saying go ahead, move out. We'll find someone else to be defensive coordinator, and hopefully we can be successful in the same right. So that's my take on it.
Okay.
Of course, coach.
What's up?
As we said, coach, you have that title. So as we talk about coaches now, saying you do a different type of coaching. Let's talk about that. How did you get the title as coach, and how has that been for you?
Well, you say long story. 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Now you got me telling my age. Who cares? You know what I mean? That's the beautiful part about it. You know what I mean? Still look good. You know what I mean? Even at this age. But
don't crack.
yeah, I know, right? So 10 years ago, I started an organization. Well, 11 years ago, we started the Admirals. And then 10 years we've been actually hooping, right? So my first year, of course, come out and started the whole organization. And we were ranked number 20th in the ABA. You know what I mean? Had a bunch of ex-D1 players, teammates, ex-teammates, things like that. And once again, as an owner, you know what I mean? Now this is wearing many roles, right? Like you said, I agree. Business is business. At the end of the day, it's nothing personal. You know what I mean? So what I had to do, I had to make a decision because our team had lost probably like 6 or 7 games in a row. You know what I mean? And so that wasn't the vision, you know what I mean, of any team. And so I had to step in as the coach and begin to really learn how to move the guys from, instead of just being the G or the owner or the general manager, I had to step in and really just coach the guys. And so that was my first time actually coaching, was 10 years ago with my own organization. You know what I mean? And from there, we made it from that year. Once I took over, we made it to the playoffs. We lost in the finals. And so after a while, I started to think, well, maybe this is, I'm going to have to do this because it is a small business. It's my business. And right now, I need to make whatever decision, wear whatever hats I need to wear so we can be successful. So that's how I got into the coaching business. It was because of my own brand, if you want to say. And it was like I had a bigger vision for my players and for my guys. You know what I mean? And so once that ended up happening, that door opened up other doors in the community where I became a high school coach for the girls in the community. I was a middle school boys coach to, with my organization still going on and traveling the world coaching, just ended up being a blessing in disguise. So it was one of those, I wasn't looking to be a coach, but that was sort of like, I guess, the calling that I was running from that I ended up stepping into by default. So that's how I got into coaching, and just the passion and my love for people, really just took over. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I've been doing it for 10 years at all levels, from youth to adults, overseas. And I took a break and now I'm back. And so this is why this is a big deal, because you don't realize just how much you have a love or a calling until sort of you try to walk away. You know what I mean? And that's sort of what happened. Circumstances in life was happening, and I had to take a back seat and focus on some personal things. And as things began to change, the door opened back up, and I'm back. So that's how I got into the coaching game.
So you say you coached in other countries. Like what other countries are you talking about? Canada,
Canada, Japan, China, UK, Lithuania. I had offers to go to Philippines, Africa. Some more countries. I was supposed to go to Egypt. So 2020 was the year that I had like 5 new countries. You know what I mean? I had actually an ambassador that flew to Bremerton, Washington. Shout out to my friend, Coach Thomas, who had a friend, an ambassador from Africa, who flew in just to meet with me, to bring me over to Africa to coach and recruit and do things like that. So, I've been about 4 or 5 countries and coached and beat some of the top teams. We one of the most memorable experience, my guys, we went to China and we played a team, Russia, out of Super League. I think they're one of the top teams out of Super League. Of course, nobody knew about us because we're from this small town with 36,000, people at Bremerton, Washington. That's where Kitsap is. And so I recruited and brought my guys together, players from all over the U.S. and the guys that out of Washington that plays for me. And we went over to China, borderline Russia, and we stunned the world. You know what I mean? And from there, ever since, we had the honor of beating the CBA, Division II champs of China. We beat Spain, Lithuania. No, that's the only country we haven't beat is Lithuania. We haven't beat them, but we beat everybody.
They got a squad. Them Lithuanians can play.
Man, they just shooting the cover off that ball.
They can ball. Yeah, they can ball.
Man, so, but, that is, stories. This is perfect because as we continue to go on with the interview, I can lead into what's happening, what I'm working on as we're coming back, and begin to use this time. Honestly, this is what we call our comeback season. You know what I mean? For all of us, we're all returning from COVID, things like that. And so we sort of have a sort of chip on our shoulder just from the simple fact that, well, first of all, we lost in UK a couple of years ago, but, now we're going off. I'm just so excited to be back. But, yeah, I've coached in a couple of countries and still got more adding.
So let me ask this, Trey. So maybe I should ask Coach this. So did he, or this is for both of you guys, so did he know about Kim's tournament? Because he's coaching men's basketball, correct?
Yes. Yeah, no, Kim, that's my girl. You know what I mean? That like Travion, there's certain personnels that I had the honor to meet throughout my 10 years of just in our arena and built relationships. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all about what I told. I'm a hope giver in a sense. You know what I mean? I want to
Mm-hmm.
help and really give hope and help our young men and women and give them an opportunity, because that's one thing that we can all agree, and we know we don't get the same fair opportunities. You know what I mean? And so for me, having a platform, I said, you know what I want to do, I want to be able to give us opportunity and give us hope and say there's other avenues that you can be successful or that you can make it. You know what I mean? And so so that's sort of what happened on that platform. Is as the stage got bigger, it continued to happen. And Kim, yeah, I'm about to say Kim was one of the first owners that I had a chance to meet and get players and build relationship with and take them overseas. And so only reason I wasn't there, it was just our division. You know what I mean? I was planning, I was going to be there. I was going to come back. That was going to be my first game back coaching. And so the semi-pro division, we just didn't have enough teams. You know what I mean? And so that's the only reason I wasn't there or my team wasn't there. Other than that, she called, we're there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Yeah, sure.
That's what's up.
So Bishop, I know
Mm-hmm.
you have some coaching chops yourself. When are you making when you making your debut? When you coming back, fam?
Well, so it's crazy you asked that, or yeah, you asked that question, Trey, because actually, I'm gonna try to get I call him my little brother. Him and I coached youth football back in the day when we were stationed at Fort Hood. Coached the Clean Patriots, which was a very successful youth organization back in 2007 in the time frame, and we did some great things. And he actually just hit me up about a week or two ago. He was down here in the San Antonio area because they had a youth All American game, I guess you could call it, for 13U, 14, 15U, I believe, was the age group. And so he asked me to come on board, help him with that. So hopefully next year, we're putting together a team for next year's All American game for those youth in full contact football. So I'm gonna be fully engaged here soon, probably within the next 30 days, I would say, in picking talent across the country in regards to trying to find the best 13 to 16U contact football players in the country. So definitely, if y'all know some or have an idea, or even if your son or nephew or whatever cousin is good and is in that age group, send me some videos and stuff like that. You can send it to my Facebook or whatever, because I'm definitely looking forward to making this game. This All American game has only been running about 3 years. I think this year was its third year, so it's barely in its existence. So, but yeah, that I love coaching, especially you. It's a great thing. I feel like I got a lot of knowledge to give, and I like to mentor them and get them up, and not have them become a Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Get them, not have him come a
Oh,
Dak
wow.
Prescott. And no, I won't say that because Dak Prescott
Yeah.
he made it to the ultimate league in which you can make it to, and that's the NFL. So no. That was just jokes, man. Don't y'all
Mhm.
Cowboy fans come for me, man. I was just playing. But yeah, that's my whole thing, man.
Yes, okay. So, what I'm saying, with the last topic that we have, of course, the most topic for this NFL segment, the playoffs. What I'm saying, this playoff schedule has been set now. We have a couple of 4 games slated as we move into the divisional rounds, and yeah, we're going to saying let's get mainly Coach Ashley's take on that, because of course me, Bishop, and I think Ron will be on Friday to continue on. As you know, your man's Trey is leading the pack with the I had one blemish, I think, just one blemish. Let's see if I could go ahead and finish it out with uh um undefeated record the rest of the season. But of course, we have as we was talking about San Francisco, we in the building, bang bang, night and game. The San Francisco 49ers will be traveling to the Green Bay Frozen Tundra Packers to take on the Packers. Ask yourself, Ashley, Bishop, is this, well, more so Bishop, you could just speak to it, but Ashley, definitely, do you see a situation where the 49ers can be victorious in this, or does Rodgers slay the dragon and stop their record of 3 straight in the playoffs?
Well, y'all gonna have to be on top of y'all more than the A game. That's with Aaron. You know what I mean? So that's just a given fact. So I think if they limit the mistakes, you know what I mean, and they're gonna put pressure on him, and hopefully he's not on his A game to not to say that it's going to be a blowout, anything like that, but just game recognized game. You know what I mean? And so I think it's going to be a great game. You know what I mean? The 49ers proved themselves against the Dallas Cowboys last week. So, hard over everything. So my call, you know what I mean? I want to see the game. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to create no haters or nobody disliking me on either side. You know what I mean? I got love for y'all all. You know what I mean? Neither one of them, in a sense, is my team, but that is my brother's team, the 49ers. Shout out to my brother. So I rock with him. We hope that we can pull it out, but at the end of the day, he is that man. You know what I mean?
Okay. Of course, next up, the Los Angeles Rams stay in the NFC. Los Angeles Rams, a high-powered, potent attack from the Los Angeles Rams, will be traveling over to Tampa Bay to take on, as Bishop has said plenty of times, that GOAT, the GOAT in Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. Do you see a situation where Tom Brady will not be participating in this year's conference championship, let alone the Super Bowl?
That's for me.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Tom Brady, like I say, is the GOAT. You know what I mean? When you least expect it, he's still there. You know what I mean? Like even when he got transfer when he left New England, everybody was like, "Oh, at Tampa Bay." He turned around and brought a ship to Tampa. You know what I mean? So of course, I think he's always going to be in the picture. You know what I mean? Now to say he's going to win it all, maybe. He definitely has a chance because he's the GOAT at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But I just think he don't have enough right now, as far as what he's going to need when you talk about weapons. You know what I mean? As a coach, you build a certain type of team and you know what you have to work with. You know what I mean? So that's what I would look at and say.
Okay, I got it. I'm feeling it. Hey, Bishop, you might want to take some pointers, man. It sounds like he talking that ish for the most part.
I'm not worried about the ish. If the Rams can get to Tom Brady early, it's over. I say it again. They need to take the credit for the Saints defensive playbook. I agree with you, little bro. But everybody talking about Tom Brady don't have his weapons. The Bucks don't have his weapons. They don't have their weapons on offense. It looked as though this past weekend he didn't need it. As long as he got Gronk, as long as Tom has Gronk, that's enough for him. Believe you me, and Mike Evans, like it's enough, bro. He has Tom and Mike. With them two, that's more than enough, man. I'm yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not knocking anything on the Rams because the Rams defense is playing lights out without question. The Rams defense is definitely playing lights out. But yeah, that'll probably be the game of the weekend right there.
The Tampa Bay Rams game.
That's probably the game of the weekend in my opinion. In my opinion, that's probably the game of the weekend because you got the GOAT making a run for another Super Bowl, man. The GOAT at 44 years old, bro.
The GOAT about to get curved. So, but in any case. In any case, well, you know what I'm saying, for what I think, but we'll know on Friday. I'll make that known.
Yeah, of course, we'll make those decisions Friday.
Of course, continue on, Coach. The Cincinnati Bengals with Bishop's man, Joe Thoroughborough, is traveling over to Tennessee to do battle with the King Henry. Do you fresh off saying his injury, ready to go, probably chomping at the bit, ready to get at them boys? Do you foresee a situation where Cincinnati is going to be victorious, or is King Henry going to take his throne back and push his Titans to the championship game?
Well, I mean, I'm originally from Memphis. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm always going to go with the hometown, no matter what.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So Titans, even though I may not rock it all or anything like that, but when it comes to my town, I'm going to go with the King. So even if we lose, I'm rocking with him. So we're going with where I'm going to go. My pick and hope is Tennessee.
Okay. I like it.
I'm feeling it. And so, of course, the last one, AFC slate, Buffalo Bills. Yeah, that is Applewhite. That's definitely Applewhite.
You
The
know that's
Buffalo
F1,
Bill,
bro.
the Buffalo Bills will be taking on Kansas City up in Kansas City. Mahomes made it. They was kind of shaky at the beginning of the season. Mahomes made it through. He got them divisional into the divisional games. The output that Josh Allen had what looked like that rival that of Patrick Mahomes. Do you think that Allen continues on and they romp Kansas City, or is Kansas City going to go ahead and show who they are, what they've been doing the last years, and get the W?
I think Kansas City. You know what I mean? Mahomes. I like Mahomes. I was actually watching Mahomes. I forgot that show. There was the quarterback show. You know what I mean? Before he actually made it. You know what I mean? So I've been really watching him. Well, his road to the league, to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Type thing. And so,
Really,
or not the NBA, but to the NFL. And got me on basketball. You know what I mean? But I was watching that, and so I became a fan. I love the young man, and so I think KC is going to pull this one off. You know what I mean? Just because when you start talking about leadership, he's a young guy that's really trying to, that's embracing his role. And they're listening, and he's proven himself. So I think that he's going to continue on.
Okay. So you can say some of the stuff. Just saying some good points. Of course, I might have to pull for some of them when I make my picks on Friday. Well, you know, what I'm saying greatly appreciated. Like look at Bishop. You look at it.
Anyway, yeah, you already know. You already
Gonna
know.
say,
The Friday
gonna
can't
say,
come fast enough.
for real. I don't know. Ryan might not show up, man, because I don't know what his picks is.
Yeah, Ron.
So you know, say of course, moving on into the NBA. Of
Let's
course, there
go.
was only 2 games in NBA. Actually, before we get to those 2 games, there was I guess the season is getting close to that season. The NFL, NBA
Deadline.
the
NBA
NBA
trade.
trade deadline is
Deadline.
upon us. February the 10th. Of course, last night there was a 3-way trade. Not the most biggest or bolstering blockbuster trade, but you did have a 3-way trade between the Denver Nuggets, Boston Celtics, and the San Antonio Spurs, where the C's get center Bobo and point guard and guard PJ Dozier from Denver. They move. Correction. Yeah, from Denver. Denver moved hold up. So the Boston Celtics got center Bobo and guard PJ Dozier from Denver. Guard Brian Furbs goes to the Nuggets from San Antonio, and forward Honcho Herman Gomez goes to San Antonio from Boston. So a little bit, you know, saying moving around here. I'm very sure. I think the biggest factor in this situation is Bobo. So you hear the name Bobo is the son of Hall of Famer. I mean, not Hall of Famer. Bo isn't in the Hall of Fame. But he is known Manute Bo. Who actually Bobo is a very skillful. If you watch him play up in Oregon, very skillful center, but he hasn't got his opportunity to shine in the NBA, being that he was injured from coming in from college. But he is in the 53 games he has played in, he's averaging 15 points. So maybe it, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there is
we know
something
that
here.
point was coming.
So you know what I'm saying, with that being said, who do you think in this, just on Pepper, who do you think won this trade at this point?
Well, of course, I would say the Celtics. You know what I mean? On paper, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm up here listening and reading other names, no disrespect, because all of them made it to the highest level. But then you standing out, you know what I mean? What these are the players that some of them are not standouts, some of them are standouts. It's all about the system. This is what I've learned, right? The player got to have the right system for their game. You know what I mean? And so that may be hopefully part of it in this trade, that Bo, he can find the Celtics and let him shine a little bit more. The system would be built probably a bit more around him, or they see let's insert him some kind of way to get him more active. This is what we need. So I go back and say the Celtics, just because of the fact that it's a business. at the same time. You know what I mean? I look at the game from, how we're going to win it off the court, on the court. You know what I mean? When you say that, you got to have fans. You got to have, the community. You got to have all these different pieces. You know what I mean? So I could be wrong, but centers are hard to find, especially good centers. You know what I mean? That can do more than just be in a post. I love the traditional bang centers, but the game has changed a lot. You know what I mean? So with his skill set, he can shoot the ball. He can, spread the offense out a little bit more. I think hopefully it'll be a good fit for him. So I'm gonna say the Celtics.
Okay. Bishop, what you got now? To go back to what real quick, Bishop, before you answer, to go back to what you was just saying, Coach. Of course, I think they're actually the Celtics are really at utilizing him for the fact of he is a couple of weeks ago there was actually a trade on the table with Bo going to the Detroit Pistons, but the Pistons negated that trade due to Bo's physical.
Okay.
So of course, already knowing this, the Celtics went ahead and took him and PJ Dozier, which is PJ Dozier is currently on the injured reserve, but they went ahead and took him. So Bo's not going to get a chance to play because he's going to probably be out 6 to 12 weeks as he goes through a surgery. So I know definitely the Celtics did this for a salary dump in Burns, but at the same time, if you're bringing in two players that are injured and aren't going to be able to play for you right now, you got to think they have some type of high side or there's something that you think is going on. So of course, but saying Bishop, who you think won this trade?
So with that being said, what you just said, man, is definitely a hidden agenda for the Celtics. Because for you to trade for two players who aren't going to be able to even get on the court for a while makes me believe that they have a hidden agenda and they're looking to use that as collateral for something maybe later on. I don't know. I don't know if they, want to see by the time, the All-Star break, if Bobo and Dozier are back and see if they can, help Tatum in other words, and other key players out there in Boston. Who's could Bobo, which I feel like he could, and Dozier, if they're healthy. But we just got to see. When it's all said and done, it looks good as far as Boston or as Boston getting the advantage in regards to this trade. But again, with both of them still injured, I don't know how that was so beneficial outside of the fact that what you said, which goes freeing up some cap space by letting certain individuals go so that they can, maybe look to pick up other individuals during this trade deadline ending on February 10th. So I feel like it's definitely chess and not chess.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. So, of course, keeping in the same vein when we're talking about trades, of course, we all know the Ben Simmons saga in Philadelphia had an opportunity to come to a close, but however, as you know, saying as my man Bishop usually says, their GM David Morley decided they had a trade where the Detroit Pistons were looking to give up Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk, and a first round pick for Ben Simmons, and they declined. They basically stated that they want a player that is going to bring that is a all-star type player to bring along and play next to Joel Embiid. So, fellas, GM, put your GM hats on.
Yeah.
Are you pulling the trigger on this trade, or are you like Daryl's like, that's not enough, I want more?
For me, man, for me, man, I don't know, man, because Ben Simmons I don't know, man. He's done rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. That's why Ben ain't went nowhere. If Ben was something about Ben would have been gone, and that's why people ain't pulled the trigger on Ben. That's why Ben is still where he is currently. So I can't fault Detroit for Philadelphia for not wanting to pull that trigger on that trade because even though Ben Simmons may be a headache for them, they still want something worthwhile.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To get that headache off their books. So yes, they're getting too much for Ben. And which I can totally agree with you. I feel like that they are asking a lot for Ben. But you got to keep in mind what these teams are or you gotta look at it on the other side of the spectrum too. Like these teams are like, man, y'all trying to get rid of this dude, man. Hey, look now, we'll take him, but look, hey, I'm giving you this. We ain't giving you much more than that now, because I'm not like, look, Ben ain't that dude. He ain't that dude.
Right.
So, again, that's why I say Ben. That's why Ben is still where he is, because a lot of teams don't want to take on that headache and don't feel like Ben. Like, dude, don't like. What does he bring to the table? Like, honestly, coach, you looking at knowing what Ben caliber of play is? You being a basketball coach. What do you see as far as the upside for Ben Simmons, and bringing him into your organization?
Honestly, just keeping it real, I don't see. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just being honest. Just watching him, and like I said, they say, let's say, attention media. Like as far as you draw, was it publicity? All publicity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not really good, although they say it is. Lot of stuff. You know what I mean? When I like say, you understand the sport. Like I tell my players, y'all are products. Just keep it real. You know, it's a business.
That part.
You know what I mean? Your product. This is a business, and so you got to display and present yourself as a top quality product. You know what I mean? On and off the court and all of this and that. So, you know, when I look at them from that standpoint, even as well, you know what I mean? As a businessman, as a coach, and all of these things, I'm like, it's just too much. You know what I mean? You're too much to be dealing with. And so at some point, you know, they're going to have to figure it out. And other teams is not going to want to take on it, like you said, going to take on that headache, and especially talking about, if they would have got rid of him when he first came in because of how high he was, you know, drafted, and he was that guy. But then after in the league, you begin to say, he's not really panning out like we was hoping. You know, we want, you know what I mean, all of this and all of that.
That part.
Game, I don't see him. He's not a weapon that I can really use at that level and know that I'm gonna be successful. He's not consistent in the areas that I'm gonna need. Where am I gonna put him? Point guard, you know what I mean? You know, yeah, he was a big guard, but at the end of the day, you know, is he shooting? Is he distributing? You know what I mean? What are you doing?
None of that. That's the thing. That's the whole problem. He ain't selling himself. He's not marketable, or not marketable. He's not a person. He's not an asset. In other words,
right?
He's not an asset.
So that's what it is. Like marketable. He's Ben Simmons, but you know that wears off after a while. The fact that you're not producing, you're not producing. Yeah. Why am I giving you all this money? Why am I paying, you know, coming out to the game? Why am I supporting? Because you're not giving me what I need. You know what I mean? This is a give and take type game. We need to work on this together. So
absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I feel like all he's doing by not playing is hurting his mark, hurting himself in the mark. Because now people, not only that, the last time people seen you play showed that you're not that guy. The last time you played showed that you're not that guy, and now that you're not playing at all, like your last impression is your last impression is what everybody knows. So being that you're on the bench or at home or chilling or wherever you are, people don't know what you've done from the last time you was on the court, and the last time when you was on the court wasn't productive. So therefore, there's no reason to be like, oh yeah, let's bring Ben Simmons in. Is he killing it in the game? No, Ben, you're not killing it in the game. So therefore, okay, if we can if we can find the space, or if we got some throwaway money, maybe we'll bring you in. But other than that, you can stay where you at.
That's interesting. So I think I have a little bit of a different take on it. I personally, when I look at them, I think it goes back to what Coach Ashley was saying earlier, is the system in which you put it in. So I don't know if I would. I think it would have to be a system that you already have in place, and he's not the type of person that you bring in to make a system around him. But I think if you could bring him into a system like Coach Ashley was saying, point guard, maybe not. He probably wouldn't be a point. You know, what I'm saying, you a big body, 6'9", 10. Then I say let's sit up and get you where you match up. And you're saying hopefully you're a matchup nightmare with other small forwards or whatever case like that. Or you know, saying small.
But then if that's the case, Trey, if you feel like that, where do you see Ben Simmons going to be productive? What team?
So it would be definitely a team that doesn't need him offensively, where he just
Oh, right,
where he
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It would have to be a
right.
team that doesn't need him offensively. We all know he started to become a defensive stalwart as he pushed under the Cupo for saying defensive player of the year. I think he was a first team defensive player 2 years in a row. So it would be his primary for me when I look at his primary premise would be to be a defensive stalwart and to help hopefully be able to create and have create mismatches on the offensive side of the ball, but he doesn't have to be someone that has to be a primary ball handler. We don't need shooting. We just need you to be a slasher, a 3 and D guy without the three, basically. Let's say a layup and D guy, or or something like that. It's that would be more so. So I think if it's a team like that that doesn't need offensive scoring, they just need defensive and be able to score in certain situations, then he'll be grand for that. But I don't know if it's worth like what Philadelphia is asking for. Well, that kind of came down a little bit.
So go just I wanted to talk on that now. So we talk about roles.
Uh
You know what
huh.
I mean? Even players got to learn their roles and know their roles.
Correct.
Right.
So you think
If
about
you
it.
don't
If
buy
he was
in,
that, right, you know what I mean? So can his mentality change if that's the case? So
yeah.
when you start moving pieces and you was the man and you know what I mean, you was used to doing this and doing that, and then I bring you over to my team and I say, you know what? I don't want you to do that no more.
I need you to do this. Yeah.
Yep, I
Mhm.
need you to do this, and I need you to be good at that. Now, the
Mhm.
mental part, this is me also being an ex hooper. You know what I mean? Can I accept that role because I was that guy? You know what I mean? Can
Everybody,
I?
right? Everybody
You know what
can't
I mean?
accept that role.
Everybody
Facts.
can, and that was something that Vince Carter did very well. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why he was
That's why
able
he
to.
played so long.
Yes,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? He was able to adjust whatever was needed. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. If he can adjust to what's needed, if a team say, you know what, I need you to do this and that, and he say, okay, let's do it, and be maybe third, fourth option. If he, you know what I mean, especially on the offense, man, we know that's not really his thing like that.
Hmm.
But if he's a
Right.
defender and he can add me 10, 15
Yeah.
points, whatever,
Hmm.
yeah, he's solid. But it's going to all depict on can he adjust to that and will he really gravitate to that role and own it. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing that I would say on what you're saying. I agree. If he can do, if that's the case, he can fit in a system, but he had to want to, accept that role.
Yeah, he definitely has to be a role player, like just like you said, like Vince Carter. For that's why he was able to play so long. That's why Carmelo was
Yep.
back in the league. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
even though
Exactly.
Carmelo was one of those people who really
Heck
didn't
yeah.
want to accept it at first, but has accepted it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Has accepted it now, coming off the bench and knowing that he can provide, some points here and there. You know, at the beginning of the season, Carmelo was balling out coming off the bench
Yeah.
in LA. You know what I'm saying? So those are things if you are able to get beyond your ego and accept the fact that you're not coming into whatever organization that chooses to bring you in, that you're not coming in to be the star of that team, that you're accepting a role playing position, you can still be successful and still make a name for yourself in the league. We know people have done it million
Yeah.
way before him, the Scottie Pippins, the
Yeah.
Dennis Rodmans, you know what I'm saying? All these other players who played the role, the Steve Kerrs, everybody, that whole championship Bulls team had
Yeah.
role players. Everybody down to the Stacey Kings, to the Ben Cartwrights,
Yeah.
to all of them were role players. There was only one star on that team. And if you didn't know that, you was getting ousted out of Chicago.
Yep.
You had to know your role. And when they brought in Dennis Rodman, they brought him in knowing he was going to be rebounding and he was going to be defensive. That's all they needed. We need you for this. Don't worry about points. If you get them, cool. But worry about getting rebounds and defending players. That's it. That's all that we need you to do. That's it. And he accepted it wholeheartedly and came in and helped that team. Ben has to do the same. I totally agree with you, Coach and Trey. If a team can find that in him and he can humble himself to be able to fit that role, so be it.
So you said Eagles. Some player came to mind, and let me know if this player comes to mind too when I say this. Eagle that basically stopped his career or ended his career where it was. Allen Iverson.
Mm. Mm.
I
Mhm.
don't.
Do you
I
think? Do you
personally,
think it
I
was
don't.
a? Do you think it was an ego situation, or was he just done? It was he could give anymore.
No, I personally feel like Allen Iverson is like the Barry Sanders of football. I think his time was cut short, in my
Yeah,
opinion. In
yeah,
my opinion, I think his time was cut short. Do I think his ego played a part in it? That's yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Because Allen Iverson is one of the best ball handlers to ever grace the hardwood floor. Ever graced the hardwood floor, especially at the size of which he was. You know what I'm saying? To come in there and play big boy ball as
yeah.
a small point guard and do the things in which Allen was doing, bro. I mean, he's one of the best, in my opinion, to do, to play the game at that position, in my personal opinion. But as far as the ego, I don't know, man. I don't know. Coach, what you think?
Well, I mean, I look at the fact that I'm huge AI fan. You know what I
Me
mean?
too.
That was my air, as a guard, looked up to him, you know what I mean, type situation. He changed the game as far as even from a business standpoint. You know what I mean? That's something you have to look at. And he'll tell you, we all know he came from the hood, you know what I mean? And so in that, there was certain mentalities, and that's what I talk to my guys too, saying, hey, in the business, there's business. You know what I mean? And so don't let, you say situations or just who you are on that sense. Not to say it's your fault, because it's nothing like that. It's just the fact that for us, we got to be more than on top of our game to get anything in life. You know what I mean? So honestly, that's how I feel. I feel like, it's always, there got to be example set. You know what I mean? And yeah, even if he was getting older, he was that dude. You know what I mean? I haven't seen really too many people that at his size that can lead a team to the finals basically by himself.
Matter of fact, Coach, it's a good thing you said that. You brought up a question in which we still had. So let me ask you a question.
Oh, here we go, bro. But here, Coach, come on, come on. Don't. Hey, Trey, don't sugarcoat it and don't play.
I'm gonna give you. All right,
I'm
straight to the question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 3 names. These 3 names I want you to put in your, you know what I'm saying, from top to bottom, or let's go bottom to top, so that way we already know. Bottom to top,
best skill set.
in order, most skilled point guard all time. 3 names. Kyrie Irving,
Skill set now.
Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson.
Ooh. Skill set. Irvin, he keeps that thing on the string. I mean, I had to say, it depends on what you're looking at. I mean, Magic was what? 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" point guard. Yeah, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? He said they each, you know what? I can't even put and say 1, 2, 3 because I respect their game all from a different standpoint, a different viewpoint. You know what I mean? Of course, being an older school, so Magic and AI, they taught very well. You know what I mean? So, like I said, AI was for us, the little guys. You know what I mean? He held us down and showed things with just his game, the heart, like no other. Magic was a G. You know what I mean? As well. So they all have their qualities and they stand up for the things they stand up for. Because I talk about Irvin. You know what I mean? I watched him not Kawhi. I'm up here talking about Kawhi. Like, I need another cup of coffee. I'm not up this early all the time. But honestly, I can't put a 1, 2, 3 because I look at their game and I've taken each part of their game and I even teach the game. You know what I mean? So they all have qualities from a skill set that is, is some of the best. So that's how you got to look at it. You say, now when you mention those 3, they're all three of them is going to go down as 3 of the best guards that ever played the game. You know what I mean? So salute and respect to all 3 of them from me, from one player.
You think that of Kyrie, really? You think Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, he's already amount to that?
Yeah.
He's not, I say he's not at the AI and Magic level, not with the respect factor. No. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Not because you got to say their resume, what they've done. I mean, of course, he has the potential. He's, you know what I mean? When I say the potential, it's just talking about as he continue to progress and depends on what he do as far as records or what he leave behind. You know what I mean?
But coach,
Legacy. Go ahead.
coach, AI hasn't won any NBA
He,
finals. Kyrie
he,
has.
still AI was in an era that is not like today. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
I totally agree to that.
You know what I
Totally agree to
mean?
that. Yeah.
So the game has changed so much between the two eras. You know what I
Facts.
mean? And so
Facts.
what he had to do back then, you know what I mean? And then if he do what he was doing back then now, that's the thing. You switch the two guards and put them in each other's era and see what they do. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know.
So
Hey,
do you say so? So let me ask you this, Coach. Do you feel that AI would be just as productive in today's
yep,
era as he was in
yep.
his own era?
Yes, if not more. You know what I mean? Just because of the fact that what he was able to do with some of the greatest, and he's still mentioned. That's what I'm saying. Although he didn't win a championship, he did win a championship. You know what I mean? He's one of the, you know what I mean? He's one of the Americans' favorite point guards. You know what I mean? We still talking about him to this day. You know what I mean? And so I think, like I said, if he was able to play now, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Just because he's that dude. AI had hard over matter. You know what I mean? He didn't care. He was a dog. And that's the difference. A dog can play in any era, a true dog. You know what I mean? So that's why I say that.
So let me ask you this, because this has always been a question, and a lot of critics, a lot of fans, and a lot of people, period, have said this and wanted to know the answer. So I want to get your perspective of it, being that you're a basketball guru or coach. Could King James play in that era?
Now, so he definitely the crying part going that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? In that era, I love LeBron. I love. I mean, never. Can't take nothing from him. I've been following him since high school and all of that. So I'm a big LeBron fan. I love his game, but it's too physical for him. You know what I mean? Just watching how he carry himself, and I'm like, come on, man. You know what I mean? As big as you are, you should be just owning cats. You know what I mean? I don't even want to hear, some of the things or, this happened. No, play through. Back in that day, they was laying the wood, and they threw hands. You know what I mean? So it was just a different era.
It would say that part. And I've heard so many people, LeBron James, he's better than Michael because of this, and that, and the other, so forth and so on. When it's all said and done, man, when I think about LeBron, I'm not taking nothing from him. That young man has done a great deal of things in the NBA. He's the face of the NBA right now. He's been the face for the past few years, and the man has a great talent. He was gifted with a great talent, and there's probably not many more to come behind him that's like that. But the fact of the matter is, the difference between LeBron and MJ, GOAT in basketball, in my opinion, is the fact that the errors. I personally do not feel as though LeBron could have dealt with the bad boys of Detroit. I really do not. I really do not think or Boston. What's up, KG? KG, what's up? Yeah, or Boston. I don't think he could have dealt with the Bostons. I don't think he could have dealt with the Houstons, the Rockets back when Olajuwon was playing. I really don't think, or the Celtics. I mean, not the Celtics. The Supersonics. The Supersonics. I don't think he could have done with the Supersonics, the Celtics. Those teams, I don't feel like LeBron would be able to function the way he's functioning or be as dominant in the game as he is now. Like you said, the game has changed so much compared. It's powder puff now compared to what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? They call everything now.
I was just thinking
the Pacers.
The Pacers.
The Pacers. Remember the Pacers had a whole brawl with the crowd. They fought the whole crowd. So they give less than a damn. They give less than a damn when they fight the crowd, baby.
For real.
So the Pacers is like the Popeyes staff workers nowadays.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, not taking nothing from LeBron's game. You know what I'm saying? And back to what Trey's initial question was when him and I was debating this about Kyrie, Magic, and AI. Was the fact of the matter is I felt like LeBron. I mean, I felt like you couldn't compare Kyrie and AI to Magic
Magic.
because I meant Magic because
Yeah.
you could compare them to Magic because of the simple fact that Magic was just another. He was a specimen to be 6'9"
Yes.
playing PG, man.
Yes.
Like, come on, that's just unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nowadays it's more you see it more now, but back then
Back
6'9"
then.
as a PG,
Yep.
come on, bro. Like, man, that was just unheard of. So me personally, I felt like skill set wise, I felt Kyrie
I see
was
what
a
you're
better.
saying.
Yeah, and that's
I
all
see
I'm
what
saying.
you're
I
saying.
was not discrediting Magic. He is like the second GOAT of all time, if you, in my opinion, because he is that dude, man. Only guy to play point guard and center and win an NBA championship at different positions. But I just couldn't. I told Trey I just couldn't compare them two because 6'9" compared to 6'2", 6'3", and AI at 6'1" at the or at 6'2" if you get him on a good day. It is what it is. But that was just my take on them three.
So it's something that y'all said that I have to really take a look at. Like, let's say, like we just said, take them and put them in different eras. So I
Mhm.
look at putting Kyrie in that era, and instantly I thought about Pistol Pete 2.0.
Mhm.
Like you're saying, like Kyrie Irving in that era, it would be like Pistol Pete. You know, what I'm saying because we all know that was like that's who he was. But do
But
y'all
Trey,
think
do you
could
know
they
who
have
I think?
solved with Kyrie? I mean, of course, Kyrie off the ball, you know, saying breaking cats down, but of course, that era, the neutralization was we gotta lay him on his ass. So, do you think Kyrie would have been effective in that era as well?
Mhm. That's good. No, you're right. I mean, I think that's the difference. The only way that they could be effective, they had to grow up in that era.
Like
You know
it
what I
was
mean?
like
Yeah,
you gotta think it was. You know, what
yeah,
I'm saying it was. They
yeah.
was
But
definitely.
then Trey, but think about it. Remember White Chocolate?
Yeah,
But
Remember
yeah,
it
White
was no,
Chocolate?
true, but he was before that era. I mean, he came after that era. Like he came after when you gotta think
He
when
came out the back end of the era. He came on
yeah.
the
yeah, the
back
back end
end,
of it,
but
like he was going, you know what I'm saying? I mean, true enough, but he was like at the forefront of them being taken away, you know what I'm saying, the physicality of it and all that type of stuff. So he came on the back end of it.
I don't know. That's a good question. If Kyrie, again,
He
he
said
reminds you of an
Kyrie would have
AI.
been a jump shooter.
Yeah, I know.
He wouldn't have went in the paint. Y'all saying
Yeah,
he wouldn't win in that paint like
yeah.
that. You're right, especially against them bad boys. He might not go in that paint. But I mean, again, we compared Kyrie to AI, and AI was not afraid to go in the paint.
Heck no,
He was not. He was
no.
not. He was not afraid to go in the paint. He's gonna come in
So
there. He's gonna get you off the dribble, and he's coming
Yep.
straight at you.
so
And
what
I
we
remember
could
at the time and when AI in his prime, he used to dunk
He a
on
bang
you. He
on you.
didn't
Yeah.
care.
yeah,
He
true,
didn't
true.
care.
So just like you know what, just like we take in consideration, like we lost the fact of that was Ray Allen too. That you know, what I'm saying Jesus Shuttlesworth was that person too that used to do that. But now, so think
But he
about
was
this,
more of a
right?
shooter though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like people, I seen a highlight and like Ray Allen used to be a banger before he got known for his shooting. But you know,
But
what I'm
see,
saying
it's more of
Okay.
a comparison for me, Trey, it would be Penny. Penny was that dude
Penny
who
was
used to
that dude.
dude. Penny used to
Yep.
give them boys the business.
Yeah.
And you talk about get off the ground and put it on you,
Yes.
bruh, bruh. Penny, because of injury, Penny he ended his career way before his time. Way before his time. But
but you know
Penny was
what?
that dude, bro.
I'm finna say something, and I'm just saying y'all could get mad
No,
or
I want
what I
to hear
want.
this.
I'm finna say
Lord,
something.
here we go. Y'all, hey,
I know.
coach,
I was like, I want to hear this one.
Trey be coming with some BS, coach. I'm gonna be telling
So
you,
no,
he be coming with some
listen.
BS.
That's
I
it.
think this is actually what y'all gonna probably agree with. So we was
Okay.
just talking about AI. And we talk about AI being, let's say, Kyrie being like AI. What we're not going to do is act like AI handle the rock like Kyrie. That's not what we're going to do. Like that is where you separate the two. Like the AI's
I
handle. You know what I'm saying?
disagree.
I
Are you? You are you
disagree.
serious?
I
Like
disagree.
you're
Are
not
you
gonna
so
act
you
like
saying hold
AI?
on, let me get hold on, let me get an understanding, Trey. So you saying AI's handles is way better than Kyrie's?
No, I'm saying
No, I'm saying
Kyrie's is a whole lot is not even in
yeah,
the same stratosphere with AI
yeah.
handling the rock. Like
Oh,
AI
okay.
was effective with the crossover,
Okay. I can
but
agree
you're
with that.
saying, we're not gonna act like Kyrie Irving and AI's handles are the same.
No,
Nah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah,
Kyrie's
I
Oh,
agree.
handles is Kyrie's handles are way ridiculous, bro. That boy, he handles the ball like he's playing with a tennis ball, bro. Like
Yep.
the ball is so big. I'm sorry, I said a tennis ball, but the ball is so big. Like that dude can handle that ball well. Like, bro, like the stuff he's able to do with a basketball, bro, it's phenomenal. Like, I personally, I don't know how people play with Kyrie. Cause me, if I was a player, I'd be too busy watching. Like, damn, did he just do that? Like I'm that
Yeah.
dude. You know how you find some players just get caught up in seeing a person do all them dribble moves, and you be like, and they be, and the point guard's like, damn, can you cut to the basket? I'm trying to lose. This dude need to assist, but you're so caught up in the game, like, damn, bro. Oh my bad, I'm supposed to be cutting. I mean, Kyrie's
no,
that
stop
dude.
it,
Heck
Applewhite. Stop
no.
it.
Stop
Heck
it,
Stop it.
no.
stop
Come
You
on,
it,
dog.
tripping.
man. I'm
No.
gonna get listen, and I know that's you, Applewhite.
He was
I'm gonna give,
nasty. I
bro.
think he was
I'm
a
gonna give
better. I think he was a better passer. You know what I'm saying? I think he was a better
I give him
passer
that.
off the
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
I
that.
give
You
him
know what
that.
I'm saying?
I give him
His
that.
dribbling, how he sets up his pass, I'll give
It
him
was
that. But
cold.
I
now
Yeah.
give him that.
overall, nah.
I give
Nah.
him that. Now I give White Chocolate Jason Williams. I give him his due. The boy was bad for that's why they call him White Chocolate. I
Yeah.
give him his just due. But handle wise, no,
Yeah.
no. I don't. Let me ask you this, Coach: is anybody in the league right now handles better than Kyrie's?
Like I said, it's like he got it on the string. The boy is nice with it. You know what I mean? So as a not only now, I got to change roles as a trainer. You know, a skills trainer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's people that you study. You know, he's one of those guys. When you talking about ball handling, okay, let me see what you doing. Let me learn. Let me, you know what I mean? Because what he does with the ball, it is second to none. You know what I mean? And so I agree. His handles stupid. You know what I
Stupid.
mean? His whole game,
Straight
his game
stupid.
is thing. You know what I mean? So is that
Better handling
Jason?
the ball than
Stop it,
Kyrie. That's
Sauce.
no, bro. Stop that, bro. Stop that. You just trying to debate because that you know
Right,
good. You know good as well
right.
that ain't true, bro.
We're not falling for the banana in the tailplate.
we not. We not. You
We're not
trying to
falling for
debate
that shit.
because that is not the truth, bro.
No,
Everybody who's a basketball star know that
heck
Jason
no.
Williams was that dude. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Bad boy. But he's not a Kyrie when it comes to
no.
handling, bro. Not. Jason Williams wasn't even better than AI and ball handling. In my opinion, he was not better than AI. I watched the films before. I just watched the documentary on Jason Williams White Chocolate not too long ago. That's what made me bring him up. Because he
Yeah,
was a bad dude. Don't get me wrong. The boy could handle the ball. He could. The passes was ridiculous. Like the back, behind the back, elbow passes. Don't get me wrong. The boy was bad. The
he
boy was
was.
bad. But his handles, like, no. I mean, he could lose some people, get him off the dribble, make him fall, step, trip over his feet a few times. But Kyrie, bro, like Coach said, he said it perfectly. That ball is on a string.
Yeah.
That boy, he could bring that ball back to him and be like, man, how did he just do that? How?
So definitely you want to get to the aspect of which Coach keep on talking about the trainer, him putting on the trainer hat. So let's go ahead and finish up some of these topics which we was talking about in the NBA. So one thing that as we were speaking about saying those three guards and the guard play and all that type of stuff. One of the things in which came up is the situation with Jeremy Grant. So of course we know Jeremy Grant left to go play the Detroit, and in which the Detroit GM decided to make him unavailable for anybody to be able to get a hold of, which started a firestorm and people taking a closer look at Jeremy Grant. So now what you have in Jeremy Grant is they're trying to move him, but in trying to move him, they want at least two first round picks or a first round pick and a high caliber all-star player. So Bishop, where did this Jeremy Grant burst onto the scene to where his value is that much? Like, not to take anything from him, he was a second round pick. in his draft. But why is he all of a sudden a player that everyone is looking at and appreciate appreciate? So why is it that everyone is now taking a look at him and now that he's going hard to the paint, and now that he's got all this all eyes on him, why is it that they believe he's worth 2 first round draft picks, or a high caliber player and a first round draft pick? And not to mention Jeremy Grant is like not to mention Grant is basically on some, he doesn't want to go anywhere unless he's a primary person. Like where can he do that at anywhere in the NBA? Like who do you see? What star for an NBA team do you see that is a less option than Jeremy Grant?
You just said a lot. You know that, right? You said a
Yeah, I
whole
did.
lot. So Jeremy Grant, I mean, he's making a name for himself, man. And I think a lot of coaches are seeing Jeremy Grant is worth at least the first round. He has been consistent for the last couple of years. He's been consistent. 2 first round picks. I don't know about that. But he can be the future of some franchise. Which one, I don't know. I just don't know right now. But Jeremy Grant, he's balling. He's definitely balling. Excuse me. I can see him going somewhere. I just don't know where. But I don't agree of him being worth 2 first round picks. However, first round one, yeah, I think that's reasonable. But to like you said, him wanting to go to a team where he's not coming off the bench, where he's in the starting lineup, stuff like that.
And he's the primary option.
You asking a lot, bro.
Yeah,
you asking a lot, bro. You asking a whole lot, bro. I don't know, Coach. What you think, man?
It goes back to, once again, the roles. You know what I mean? And when you look at your career, right? It does change. You know what I mean? And so as you get older, or however you want to say it depends on how you produce, right? So it gives you more options. You know what I mean? So I would say that is a lot. You know what I mean? Not knocking or disrespecting his game, but I just say you just being real. You know what I mean? Can you handle that? You want to really put that on your back, first of all? You know, I'm trying to put a team. That's a lot of responsibility. You know what I mean? And being that the first option, you know, that the same people who love you be the first ones to hate you. You know what I mean? And shoot you down when you mess up. So you know what I mean? So it's one of those, you got to look at it. That's one of the biggest things, you know, just speaking from what I do, everybody want to be in your position, but don't know what it takes to get there. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the thing too, is saying that, hey, you know, I want this, but are you willing to sacrifice and give up?
Can you handle this?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What I'm saying? Yeah, can you handle it? So a lot like that movie, what is it? Top Gun. You want the truth, but can you handle the truth?
Yep.
Yeah. You know? Can you handle the truth? Because like I totally agree with you, Coach. When it comes to it, you say you want all the responsibility, but when it's put on your shoulder and everybody's looking at you and you're not producing, or your team ain't winning, or you producing, but your team ain't winning, can you accept all the backlash that's about to come with that? Yeah.
Because you said you wanted it, and you talking about you that man and you fit for the job. Okay, here's the opportunity. Everything you say you wanted, now I'm gonna give it to you. Now what? You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the big things that you got to look at and say, you know, there's nothing wrong with baby steps. Continue. You still moving forward. You know what I mean?
Say that part, KG. Say that part, KG. Yep.
So yeah.
Say that part. If it was that easy, everybody
would do it. That's real talk. You know what I mean? Everybody. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I never disrespect anybody who play at the highest level, but you got to know your place. You know what I mean? There's levels to this game. You know what I mean? I think that's just what it is.
There's levels to this, and knowing that there's levels to it, sometimes that level you might not be on yet.
Yep.
And if you ain't at that level, you gotta stand your ground, and you gotta take a back seat and be like, all right, man, I thought I was ready, give me about a few more years and let me get myself together and work on my game and work on my mental aspect because in all sports,
It's
the mental
mental.
plays a huge part in the game. Everybody thinks it's the physical and being able to shoot, be able to dribble, be able to do this, be able to do that. No, what about your mental aspect of the game? Where's your mental at? Can you focus and still deal with all the things that's going on the court while you have things going on in your
Your
personal life,
life. Yep.
in your finances,
Yep.
and all of these other things?
Yep.
It's a whole lot, bro. It's a whole lot, and for you
It
to
is.
ask to put that responsibility on you, I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So and then saying, of course, I think it's more of an aspect. It's just a business at the
It
point the
is.
business coming to play. You're trying to capitalize as best you can at this point and be like, let me see what I can get. But
Yeah,
sometimes talking out the
Yeah.
side of your neck isn't going to get it either. Like you know what I'm saying. Like, of course,
yeah,
you go forth. I'm very sure if you got a hot agent, he could let him do your talking and
right.
secure the bag for you, or if y'all at that point. But definitely, I don't know what it's about. But you know, saying hopefully, I won't lie. If I would take him. The Lakers would take him if we could get him.
Y'all will take everybody.
Speaking
Y'all will
speaking
take
of the Lakers,
everybody, man.
speaking of the Lakers, of course, as they say, saying a realist, as Coach say, saying be a realist. The realism is we don't have much on our roster, so we gotta basically mortgage who we can, and at this point, who we're looking at mortgage potentially is THT Talon Horton Tucker, who is a bright spot currently on the team, 21 years old, has some upside. They're probably they're looking to possibly shop him to bring back some value to help them in their run at this point. So, of course, fellas, without the hate, Bishop, do you think that the Lakers are going to be able to get somebody for THT or bring someone in before the deadline that's going to help them continue to be successful with this run?
I don't know why they trying to shop him and not shop Westbrook.
Mm.
In my personal opinion, I feel like Westbrook should be the one to be shopped because I feel like they'll get more for Westbrook than what they would for THC. Because Westbrook, come on, keep it 100. And coach is right here. I want to hear his take on Westbrook is not doing anything in LA, man. He's not. He's not. He has not come to pass what the LA Lakers expected to get when they got Westbrook. My personal opinion, he's not, bro. He's not. We almost like I said, we almost at this All Star break, and we know for a fact that Westbrook is not that dude when it comes to postseason. We know that for a fact. And I'm sure y'all you can't argue that fact. We know that. So if the Westbrook ain't where he needs to be now, what are you holding on to him for? So me, I feel like THC. I mean, I feel like leave him where he is shot Westbrook, in my personal opinion. But I
You
mean,
know,
THC is he's a young player. I'm sure if they did shop him, he could go to somewhere that he could definitely continue to strive, and a team will definitely be able to build off of him and make him even a better player than he already is. But my personal opinion, I would get rid of Westbrook.
You know what I mean? I love Westbrook, but I
I
have
do
to
too.
agree. You know what I mean? I agree. I had the opportunity to see the Memphis Grizzly game against the Lakers. You know what I mean? So I
Mm.
had a chance to watch them play. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I was honestly was surprised just from the simple fact that I had been watching the highlights and everybody what they was talking about Westbrook, and I'm like, dang, Westbrook is, as they say, stinking it up like that. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I love he's a dog, you know what I mean? So I've always been a fan, but then it's just like I said, we are getting older, the game is changing, you know what I mean? Things like that, roles may have to switch, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm like, maybe say shop Westbrook. It's a business, you know what I mean? That you got to look at all of those factors, and that's how what I say the Lakers, which still, we know that's Bron's team, you know what I mean? And it's just all about having the right pieces for the right system. You know what I mean? And just because you're a big name or you're a superstar doesn't always mean it's going to work. You know what I mean? So you got to look for the future. You know what I mean? Use it from a business standpoint. He still got a little more, gas in the tank, but he don't have as much gas as my young fella do. You know what I mean? He's the
Facts.
future. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to start to groom. That's what the game is all about. Grooming the next one is coming up. Begin to teach them. And so it's like, all right, let's use the vets to teach the next one, keep the young ones, and that use that, you know what I mean, as the stepping stone to push the organization forward. So I agree with Bishop. I will make that trade.
Hmm. Interesting enough. Interesting enough. So, of course, like we were saying, of course, we had two games in the NBA play last night. First up, the Minnesota Timberwolves faced off against the travel over to Square Garden to take on the New York Knicks. Of course, the Timberwolves were victorious, 112-110, improvement to 22-22. The Knicks were dropped to 22-23. In the effort, the big three for the Minnesota Vikings did work. Anthony Edwards, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and D'Angelo Russell, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists in 25 minutes of play. The Knicks had even Fourier scorching the Knicks, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and Julius Randle, 21 points, nine rebounds, 9 assists, 1 assist, 1 rebound short of a triple double. Uh, Coach Bishop, the Timberwolves are starting to come on pretty strong.
Yeah.
Uh, but what do you say about the Knicks, however, falling off? I think there's a lot of situations where teams, there's no dominant team just
Yeah.
off the rip, in my opinion. You got a bunch of teams. You have top tier teams, and then you have some mediocre middle of the road teams. But as far as this game, uh, do you think it was a situation in which the Timberwolves were just better, or the Knicks just played poorly and gave them the game?
It was 2 points, bro. It was 112 to 110. I mean,
True.
it's not like they got dominated or nothing like that. That's any a game like that close. That game could have went anyway. The Knicks could have won that game. So I don't think it's anything about the Timberwolves being way better or the Knicks being falling because
Appreciate
of
it, Apple White. Yes, the Vikings.
yeah
I'm sorry. I mean the
yeah
Timberwolves. I'm sorry.
yeah. I don't feel like the Knicks are falling off or anything of that nature. I just feel like that night they just happened to get that 2 point win over the Knicks.
Yeah. I definitely agree. You know, I mean, it's we know it wasn't a lopsided game. You know what I mean? It's one of those, like you say, who execute the best at the end. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Basketball is about the game of runs and things like that. And so I think it's just one of those, hey, it's a part of the game. You lose. They just lost this one, but it doesn't mean that, you know, they need to go back to the drawing board or anything like
Right,
that. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Absolutely.
And the other game last night, the Detroit Pistons faced off, traveled over to California, Northern California, to take on the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors pulled out the thrashing with the 102-86 victorious win. The Warriors were led by was led by Klay Thompson, coming back career high,
Yay.
season high, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. And Andre Wiggins, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Pistons without Jeremy Grant last night were led by Rodney Ruger, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, with conservative extras, a double double from center Isaiah Stewart, 14 points, 11 rebounds, and Howardou Diallo, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Do y'all think Detroit is basically at this point just tanking? Do you think that's the situation, or you think they're really actually trying to get wins? They currently are 10-33. The Warriors improved to 32-12. Um, is there a tank situation going on in Detroit? And on the other side of the spectrum, is Clay coming back from to propel the Warriors to a different stratosphere?
Absolutely. I told you.
Yep.
Clay is on his way. Clay's been out for 2 years, ain't played. Clay is he's on a mission. He's on a
Yeah.
mission, and he's on a mission to prove that hey, I'm back. And when I'm back, and I got step now. The bad thing is, DeAndre, not DeAndre, but
Draymond.
Draymond. Thank you. Draymond Green is out, so they don't have him, which is a key. I think that's a key factor for Golden State. They need Draymond in my personal opinion. But and Clay's not even back fully. So when he comes back fully, oh, mediocre, just not that good of a team, and Golden State would have won without Clay. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I think they. Like I told you before, and like I said before, going into the All Star break next month. Um, I think that's going to be the deciding factor for Golden State. Once they come out of that, once they come back from that break, y'all better watch out, man. Y'all better watch out. We know Steph last night. That was the first game in 9 games where he hit over 50%. He finally hit over 50% of the shot field goals. So once he find his groove again, and them Splash Brothers link up again, it is what it is, bro.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Klay Thompson fan all day.
The burner. So of course, tonight we have a 13 game slate. We'll run through it real quick. Brooklyn Nets face off against the Washington Wizards in Washington, where they try to set the ship back right. The Orlando Magic will be traveling to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. The Charlotte Hornets will face off against Tatum and the Boston Celtics in Boston. The Portland Trailblazers will be traveling to Miami to take on Jimmy Buckets and the Miami Heat. The Minnesota Timberwolves have an opportunity to continue the streak as they do battle against the Atlantic Hawks in Atlanta. The Cleveland Cavaliers will be facing off against the Chicago Bulls to see if the Chicago Bulls will get back on track and right their ship. Hopefully they have Levine, as he was determined that he did not have any real damage from an MRI. Ja Morant and them hot Memphis
Yeah.
Grizzlies
Memphis, stand up.
will,
901. What?
will sit up and do battle with the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. The Toronto Raptors will travel to Dallas to take on the Dallas Mavericks. OKC Thunder and Shieldgate SGA will be traveling to San Antonio to take on the San Antonio Spurs. The Houston Rockets will travel to Utah facing the Utah Jazz. The Pistons will see if they can right their ship and taking on the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. The Los Angeles Clippers will be traveling to Denver to take on the Denver Nuggets. And the LA Lakers will defend home court against the Indiana Pacers for the last game of the night. So, of course, saying best game, fellas. What's the best game in that slate? What you think is the game of the night?
Whew. Man, I need to look at the schedule. You just going. I'm just caught up in the listings. I don't even know all the matchups.
I would initially think it would have been the. I think hands down is going to be the Grizzlies and the Bucks.
Yeah, Jay Morant.
Let me look. Yeah, that's got to be that's without question, man. That's got to be the best game.
Yeah,
that's definitely got to be the best game of the night. The Grizzlies and the Grizzlies going to Milwaukee and Ja Morant. Come on, man.
I know they own right now.
Man,
I'm telling you, they knocking off everybody right now.
Everybody.
On the road, at home, they don't care what it is. They with all of it.
They give you the business. They give you the business. They want you to know we coming.
Yes.
That's definitely the game of the night. Yeah, that's definitely the game of the night. All them other games, there's some good, some other decent games, but definitely the game to watch is that Grizzly and Bucks game.
Yeah. So, Coach, you talk about being a trainer, putting on your trainer hat. So, tell us a little bit about the Admiral's health and performance.
So the Admiral Health performance, I guess you can say, is part of the secret behind the success of the organization. You know what I mean? When you begin to understand, when I begin to just get out in the business and travel and talk to players, I begin to express the importance of actually having a trainer working out. If you're a pro athlete, every pro athlete has a trainer. You know what I mean? At that high level, they're working with someone on their, not just condition, their skill set, all of that. And so what I begin to do on the back end of Admirals, my mentor and good friend, Ron Atkins, he was my mentor as a trainer. We formed basically the Admiral Health and Performance. And so our athletes back home, we trained them. So when we went on the road and when we competed at high levels, we went to another state or we went out of the country, well, we knew we was in the lab. We was working. You know what I mean? We was working on our game as individuals and things like that. And so what began to happen is everybody began to see the success of the Admirals and see, oh, they're winning and they're traveling and they're doing all of these things. Well, what's one of the difference of the organization was the fact that we had a training organization. I tried to set it up as professional as possible, where I had a chiropractor, I had a trainers, I had all of those things in place for my organization. And so that's where Admiral Health and Performance come from, is the fact that I was a coach and a trainer. You know what I mean? You don't see too many coaches who also wear the hat of a trainer as well. So for me, I felt like that gave me an advantage because I knew how to help athletes to injury prevention, just things like that to prolong their career. You know what I mean? So in this new season, I call it, as I shift gears, because the Admiral brand, as far as the team name, folks know, now I'm like, hey, let me begin to help y'all understand how important it is to have the proper training. So that's what the Admiral Health and Performance is now, is just that we train the athlete, not just the sport. You know what I mean? Although I'm a basketball coach, I do skill training, but the performance part is we're training the athlete. We don't care what sport you play. You know what I mean? Every athlete needs to have the proper training. So that's what the Admiral Health and Performance is about.
Okay. That's definitely so also I see on your social media that you're talking about the WCBT. Tell us what the WBCT is for those that don't know what it is.
For the World Cup basketball tournament, basically, my guy Eric, I love his vision. Everything, even when I started the Admirals, it wasn't like I always say it's bigger than basketball. You got people that always say that, but like for real, it's always been bigger than basketball. And his tournament is bigger than basketball. It's actually, he had a kidney transplant, which his wife gave him, was a part of, and which helped save his life. You know what I mean? So kidney, just understanding kidney research, and just that's the reason behind the tournament itself. But it also was a platform in the UK which brought players or teams from all over the world to help give them an opportunity. You know what I mean? As far as when you start talking about more than just exposure. And so that's, I think, the biggest thing with that tournament that I love about it. Just when we came out there, he embraced us. He gave us an opportunity to love on the community. You know what I mean? We was able to hold a camp and do those kind of things. And so it's bigger than basketball out there, that tournament. Great competition. I'm excited this year because you got all returning champs for the most part. You got I think like 4 or 5 of them that's coming through. We fell short in the finals my first year there. So I decided to go ahead and call my goons, you know what I mean, my team. And so now we're coming back focused at another level, because I have my core that I've been with years, and then the relationships that I built with other players through like you all, through my friends that I call, you know what I mean? You can't call everybody friends, you know what I mean? Just keep it real, you know what I mean? Just people who really just held you down no matter what was going on, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. My players, we're all getting geared up to go back over there to make another run, to hopefully win it all. But that's one of the platforms I really love, because it's bigger than just basketball. I don't want to go somewhere and just play basketball and just we want a trophy. I've done that already. You know what I mean? But that's what that is. The heart behind the vision of the tournament, I love and I support. And so that's what the WCBT is.
Okay. And so I know another saying which you have, one that you kind of stood on, but I want you to tell the listeners about what it actually means to you. We all eat. What's the brain trust behind we all eat?
So the We All Eat movement, thank you, nice, it's almost as if we talked offline and set this up, and we didn't, right?
So you know what I'm saying? My free show, I could get in the booth every once in a while.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So the We All Eat movement, this is what this is. We're about to really put part of the UK and what's happening in our return. I'm calling it sort of like the We All Eat movement. And what it is basically, if I got it, you got it. You know what I mean? It's what we should really be about. You know what I mean? So no matter what it is, like with my players, I've taught them. I've given myself personally, first of all. You know what I mean? I'm open with them. I'm very transparent as a man, as you know what I mean, and trying to mentor them first as a man. You know what I mean? And so that's what it is. Is saying, man, let me pour into them and mentor them to be men. You know what I mean? Be fathers. Be the things. Once the ball stops, then what? You know what I mean? And so the We All Eat movement is we care about one another, like personal issues to business. I'm there to help them with their own brand. So although they may rock the Admiral logo, I'm teaching them, hey, you need to consider coaching, training. Here's the other ways to make money and begin to, look at your gifts and how you can take care of your family. So We All Eat is all about us, no matter where we at, what part of our in life, if we're playing, if we're not playing, we hold each other down. We got each other back. So that's what it is. If, like I said, We All Eat, and you see the hashtag. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With all the folks. That's why me and Coach K salute. We all eat. You know what I mean? It's like you call me, I got you. I call
That's what's
you,
up.
I know you got me. You know what I
That's
mean?
what's up.
That's what that is.
So I greatly appreciate it. So you know, what I'm saying, of course, by the end of the show, we'll be make sure that y'all understand where y'all can find Coach Ashley and what he's as you hear what he's got going on in the upcoming days and months as he continue on. Y'all hear his moniker for the We All Eat. You know, what I'm saying if you trying to get something in your belly and you got something. Hey, come to the table with. It's like a potluck. You got you know what I'm saying. Bring something to the table, and so that way everyone can eat off of it. So as we get ready to close out, I was reading yesterday and I came across some information. Uh, the the somberest of information, of course. Delta State University three-time All American and pioneer Lucia Harris passed away yesterday at the age of 66. Now, if y'all don't know who Lucia Harris is, be sure you know what I'm saying to go do
Yeah.
your homework. Lucia Harris was the first and only woman drafted by the NBA in
Mhm.
1977. So, you know what I'm saying? Off the rip, you know what I'm saying? When we think about that and hear that, you got to think like
Yeah.
only, one and only, stand alone, you know what I'm saying, by herself, drafted by the NBA. However, she was drafted by the New Orleans Jazz in 1977. And the only reason that she didn't play is because, of course, you know what I'm saying, women tend to be the ones that bear our children. And she was pregnant at the time. So that's the only reason why she didn't go play for the New Orleans Jazz in 1977. She was the first woman to make a shot in the Olympics at the Montreal Games in 1976, in which the U.S. won the U.S. in the Montreal Games in the U.S. first inaugural U.S. Tournament. She is the first Black woman to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame in 1992, and later inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 1999. If you want to go take a look, she had a short film that was produced in reference to her showcasing her career skills and accomplishments in 2021, the queen of basketball. So, of course, you know what I'm saying, Google is a powerful tool. You can
Mhm.
go check that out and go do it. So, Google it. So, of course, you know what I'm saying, it's her passing is, you know what I'm saying, as you can see, she was that person. She sounded like a GOAT, as my man
Mhm.
Bishop says. She sounds definitely like a
Definitely
GOAT.
sound like a
And when we
GOAT.
talk about
Yeah.
those like the Becky, you know what I'm saying, the Hammonds, the
It's the
Birds, and all that
Mexicans.
type of the Leslies, the
Yeah.
Coopers, the Swoops, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Lucia Harris, you know what I'm saying, can be mentioned in that. So
She
shouts
rest in
out to Miss
peace.
Lucia. Of course, I find out about this late, but definitely a pioneer and will be best.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that for the most part. Well, we got a couple of things. I got someone else to bring up real quick. Bishop.
Oh.
Well, as we know, you know what I'm saying, you've been talking about it. I feel that you happy, you know what I'm saying, ready to go. The Winter Olympics is upon us in a couple of weeks, beginning in February. I know you keep on
Third.
talking about it, so I know
February
you're ready
3rd.
ready to cover it. What I found yesterday, fam, is that Jamaica is going to be in the building at the Winter Olympics.
Sled.
They placed three bobsled events, as well as they will have the first alpine climbing individual to participate in the Winter Olympics for Jamaica. You know what I'm saying, we that hasn't happened, and as far as a bobsled team hasn't happened since uh over 24 years ago. So now they got 3 bobsled events. So they have the 4-man bobsled, the
Okay.
2-man bobsled, and I think a mono bob event, and then the alpine. So I'm very sure that's going to be interesting when you have tropic people of tropic origin to go to compete in the winter, because I know damn well if it was me, that wouldn't be fam. Nah,
Not
bro.
just you. You see my background, bro.
That is
Not
not
gonna
just
be able to
that.
do it, bro. Not gonna be
That's
able
not.
to do it.
That's one of the things I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't hold the situation. So as we get ready bounce up out here, Ashley, you said something that was so interesting to me when you talk about how y'all could always went to the field and stuff like that while you were in Hawaii, and it keeps on bringing back. I don't know, Bishop, if you ever did it. I know your last assignment was at the DFAC with the MPs, but have you ever been a part of a infantry unit?
No.
Who,
Well,
me?
okay. I know I was actually attached to when I went to Schofield. Schofield. That's where we were stationed at, the headquarters, I guess. But my unit was on Pearl Harbor. You know what I mean? So that was the difference. Although I was attached to an infantry type,
But you didn't work with the infantry.
but I didn't have to work with them because I was attached. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the blessing of being in our field. I wasn't attached to infantry like that. I was a part of transportation. So that allowed my, my field duty to be different.
Right.
Bishop, have you ever been attached to an infantry unit?
No, I have not. My whole 21 years of military service, I have not. I was never attached to the artillery unit. No, I was not, and I'm happy that I wasn't in a way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know they get it in. I know them
Yep.
field artillery boys get it
Yep.
in. So no,
Brother, who are you telling?
yeah, I did not. Yeah,
Jesus.
I never had
My last year here on Fort Polk, I got attached to an
that.
infantry unit. When I got to Fort Polk, I was supposed to even go to actually I was supposed to go even go to a field artillery unit, which saying
Okay.
my military career started out as field artillery, so I wasn't too worried about that. But I was supposed to go to even a field artillery unit, or I think it was another infantry unit, but I end up going to an infantry unit that was just being stood up, so it was brand new on the installation. And
No.
so for the first, they stood up in September. So we didn't do anything from September to January. We had nothing. It was nothing we was doing. Mid January. After that mid January point, oh my God, I didn't see, and I think I spoke about this before. I didn't see the defect anymore, bro. Like from January until the time I retired in October, I didn't see the defect anymore. And keep in mind, we didn't have equipment, man. Like we was borrowing CKs and MKTs to set
No.
up and make things happen. Like we did not have a single Sauce AID.
Yeah, it's
We
not.
didn't have we didn't have any equipment. Like we was struggling, bro. It was like it was bad, and like being cooks,
Yep.
we don't do that laying on the ground stuff,
No.
or
No.
sleeping. So I thought. So
Yeah.
I thought.
Right.
So I
Now,
thought.
now, I heard with Phil Archery, that's obsolete. They don't believe in that. They make you
Bruh.
do
So
everything they do.
we pulled up and we in placed, and we're setting up. And so the first week we set up and go pull up over to the it's a hard shell building that's over to the left. So of course we store our food in there. We put our food in there, and we put our cots in there. We got away with it the first night. The second night, man, the battalion sergeant major was like, outside. So okay, we
Yourself, but
go.
outside.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
yeah, so we outside. I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, we ain't no one else here getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying, and all this other type of stuff. Or, you know what I'm saying? So you want us to go cook. So you saying you want us to so we go put our cots up. Let me do that first. We go put our cots up. He comes around checking improvement areas, tear the cots down.
Uh-uh.
Lean twos. Like, come on, stop playing. So it ain't like, NTC, they give us the half tents and stuff like that where for you to go to NTC. Nuh-uh. Straight poncho and 500 mile per hour cord.
Mm.
Heck
So
no.
it's like, and then on the
Mhm.
ground, like the whole time I'm laying there, I'm wondering, like, is there going to be, like we was talking about yesterday with Mike Barker? I kept on thinking about it when he's talking about the hogs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's feral hogs that are out there. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna wake up to a damn pig snout in my face. It's like, what I'm saying, like, this whole situation is like that was like that was the worst. That was the worst way for me, in my opinion, to go out in the infantry, having been attached to an infantry unit. Because prior to that, I worked at First Corps in JBLM. Of course, saying in Fort Hood, I was a part of Transportation 297, ICTC. So, saying that was just saying transpo. So I didn't have to worry about any infantry stuff, but it would be that last year in which I was like, man, this is like the most unfortunate situation I
uh,
could have got. So yeah, definitely one that's going to go with me forever. So of course, that is our time for the day. We greatly appreciate everyone watching. Bishop, Ashley, any final parting words before we go, gentlemen?
I'll let Ashley go ahead.
Like I said, once again, I want to thank you both for the opportunity, like I said, to be on the show. You know what I mean? This is my first show or anything coming, I say, basically out of retirement from coaching or coming back to coaching and beginning to make this return with this whole We All Eat movement. And so
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the love and just have fun. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. And my brothers and soldiers, you know what I mean? Especially as golfs, you know what I mean? Who,
Get down.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
oh,
So
oh.
thank you and everybody who's watching. You know what I mean? Thank you for the love. And I really appreciate the love, honestly, from friends, family, fans all over the world when I was away. And it's helping me as I'm coming back and just seeing y'all express the love for us. It's very encouragement. So thank you all. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the road, overseas, or just continue to follow the journey.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bishop.
hey, yeah, man. Once again, man, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in to First Formation. For those that was late for formation, man, make sure y'all know, come see me after the formation. I got some, uh, I got some corrective training for you. Don't plan your weekend. You probably gonna be busy, so don't look to be doing nothing this weekend because I got something planned for you. I got some floors to be buffed. I got some floors to be mopped. I'm sure my orderly room needs to be cleaned. So yeah, don't go too far. You know what I'm saying? Don't go too far. But not only that, man, I really appreciate each and every one. And Coach, thank you so much, man, for coming on here, man. We really enjoyed you. Definitely would love to have you back whenever you're ready to come back, man. Definitely would love to keep you, have you
Appreciate
on
it.
the or have you on the show again. I truly appreciate the time in which we had with you. And first and last but not least, man, let's not forget about this right here. Psi Rho Military Fraternity Incorporated. We will be having our crossing weekend for our data line in Houston, Texas. For those that don't know about Psi Rho Military Fraternity Incorporated, you better ask somebody. You know what I'm saying? So if you're available on the weekend of the 31st of March through the 3rd of April, man, if you're able to come out to the Houston area, please come out, man. We got some community service going on. We got big things. It's also our Founders Day weekend, man. So we would love for you to come out and support us, support the veterans. We do have, like I said, community service. We do have a lot of things going on that weekend. It is a weekend of 4 days in which we do everything, crossing gentlemen into our prestigious organization, as well as, excuse me, celebrating our 3rd year of existence. So with that being said, man, yeah, that's pretty much the size of it. As you can see, I have the flyer right there showing you pretty much what's going on Thursday and Friday, but we do have events going on Saturday and Sunday. So stay tuned. That means you got to come back and watch the show to see the rest of
Yes,
what's going on.
sir.
So that's what's up, man. So again, that's what I got. Trey, I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So yes, and of course, in that being said, as he was talking about organization, please feel free to go to Cyber 5 Military Fraternity Incorporated's Facebook page where you can see the latest of what's going on. Of course, there's a interest meeting that's coming up. So to any brothers that are out there,
Saturday.
correction, Saturday, yes. Any brothers that are out there that look to become a part of an organization in which they continue to do work, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of them out there, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I always implore you to do your due diligence and look and
Sir.
see and find the one that's exactly for you. This one in which we are a part of, we are definitely doing things and trying to make sure that we're doing our best to provide that and live up to that what we say that we're doing. Hey, it's all there. It's always like they said, like Kim said yesterday, coach was talking about film don't lie. So, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's
It
up. You know
don't.
what I'm saying? You can see, and I'm saying proof is in the pudding. So we greatly appreciate y'all coming out. We look forward to seeing you in
Yes.
formation tomorrow morning. Of course, we'll be talking with Rodney Jordan. We're going to see. I hope he doesn't have to go do anything at 6:30 in the morning to go to
Or
a
late for information.
late for formation or have to leave formation early or something like that. We'll be talking about doing a little bit of transition. We talk about some combat sports and things of that nature, as well as fitness that has his moniker. So it should be interesting. Again, another 92 get down in the building. So you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying,
Also,
is you know what I'm saying, definitely. So it's a jam. You know, say if y'all don't know, no one does it like a 92 get down. So we greatly appreciate y'all coming out. We look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Let's not be late for formation. Show attention. Fall out.
roll fight.